Congratulations, everyone.
No, we got him. We got him.
I'm going to chat. You'll do 2 songs. We'll talk in between. But after the second song, Amy, why don't we bring you in to talk about the event, Beloved Asheville in particular.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if I bring you in earlier because it's live radio. You never
Anytime.
know. So that's the plan.
And
And while I'm talking with her, is it going to work with Mr. Brown?
Yeah. She's it's a chicken joke.
Okay.
Not the monkey. We don't want to bad vibes from the monkey.
Okay. All right. All right. 30 seconds now. I'll
30
read
seconds.
a little thing. Are you tuned? You'll be tuned and ready? Yeah. Good enough for government work. We're state government, so.
You don't say government on here.
Okay. Yeah.
Was your shot okay on the other camera? Because Paul's sitting there, you can pan it left or right if you need it.
Stand by.
Oops, you didn't see that.
That is Chuck Brodsky on WNCW with Dangerous Times from his album Color Came One Day. Just looking back at some old notes of mine, Chuck Brodsky was the very first person I interviewed here at WNCW. And he was actually among the first that I interviewed back in the 90s when I was out in Oregon. Chuck Brodsky, and that interview would have been 20 years ago, because that's when I started here at this fine radio station that has Studio B. And live Radio B sessions are brought to you by Sierra Nevada Brewing Company. I'm Martin Anderson, joined by Malcolm Holcombe here in Studio B with some special guests here as well. Chuck Brodsky, Malcolm Holcombe's Whitewater Bluegrass Company are all playing a benefit this Saturday for the nonprofit called Beloved Asheville. It's at the Gray Eagle. Mr. Malcolm Holcombe, welcome back to your home in Spindale.
Hey man, good to be back this morning, Martin. Thanks for having us so much.
It's nice to have you here. We were hoping to have Chuck Brodsky join as well, but he's got too far of a travel coming in from Michigan, but he'll be here in time for the Saturday show.
Right on.
What kind of car is he, guys? You going to make it in time?
Oh yeah, man. I don't know. He's got a Pinto, I think.
Oh. They stopped making Pintos a few years ago. Well, you know, singer-songwriter budget, it might be a Pinto. Bless his heart.
Yeah, real good gas mileage downhill.
Yeah, downhill, yeah. But, well, you made it downhill. You came downhill.
Yeah, glad to be here. Always good to be here, man. This is a real pleasure.
Was it the Saluda grade or the Old Fork grade you made?
Old Fork.
Okay, all right. Come on down here to Spindale for a session here to talk about this cool event Saturday, but also, we love talking about all your albums when they come out, but man, this new one, Tricks of the Trade, congratulations on it.
Well, just try to keep swinging it below against the wall.
Yeah, once in a while it sticks, or something. This one sticks, but then again, we're biased. All of the Malcolm Holcombe albums are good ones. They are keepers. Glad you're doing this benefit again for help affordable housing in Asheville. We're going to talk about it with one of the co-directors, Amy Cantrell, who's here. But first, I want to hear a song from you if you can. And I'll tell the radio audience that, well, one, this is Public Radio Music Day, so there might be a lot of folks from other parts of the country and the world tuning in to watch this, but all sorts of other stations doing things. And we've got a video feed of this. It's usually on the WNCW Facebook page, and I think there might be a link there for this, but actually if you go to WNCW's YouTube page today, that is the place to catch our live videos here that students and staff of Isothermal Community College are doing, so thank you to the video crew. Anyway, WNCW's YouTube page, or however you're listening right now, we've got Malcolm Holcombe with a live one.
Sadness we behold as one another's arms. Oh, it breaks minds of bones and the guys in the skin, shriveled by the sun, shaken deep within. I am my brother's keeper, lost among these days. Beyond the bed, dreams I travel far away. Favorite word indeed. Stop out the fountain's floor. Your mighty hand bear the sword of peace. Oh, sorrow comes to hold that knows no time to speak. Suffer madness close under lock and key. I am my brother's keeper, lost among these days. Beyond the weeping screams I travel far away. And my doorstep windows cast shadows from the night. Distant stars are weird, I wish upon the night. I am my brother's keeper, lost among these days. And beyond the weeping screams I travel far away. I am my brother's keeper, lost among these days. Beyond the weeping screams travel far away.
One from Holcombe on WNCW. I love that one. My Brother's Keeper. Like I said, love all the albums you do. You've been real prolific lately with a lot of great stuff coming out these past few years. It seems you're, I don't know, are you hitting your stride now? Is it like, is it just getting the songs coming fast and furious these days?
I'm just hobbling along, man. No, very grateful. It's just a lot of fire that seems to, I'm just trying to separate the wheat from the chaff.
Yeah.
And try to chew a little bit. And sometimes it's hard to swallow, but I take a bite out of it every now and then.
Yeah. Well, you're one of a number of songwriters who do such a great job at channeling the emotions that we feel in our day-to-day lives, about love, romance, intimacy, and just the day-to-day life, and then also covering topical issues. And I mean, your new one, Tricks of the Trade, I mean, you cover the Flint Hill water crisis, the immigration fiasco and such going on, the various aspects of politics, but in a way that is not real kind of dated or anything. You just have a way of doing it, and it leaves the material somewhat open to interpretation. You've been writing songs since what, the 80s, 90s, since we started on the air back in 89. I feel like we were starting to get the very first Malcolm Holcombe releases. When was your first album?
Well, I did a little vinyl here locally back in '85 or so.
That's right. We got that here.
Yeah, but I know when just trying to keep the pencil moving.
Have this album, Tricks of the Trade, it really covers a lot of ground of the issues going on, and well, suffice to say, there's no shortage of material for a songwriter like you to cover. Has your songwriting skewed more towards topical songs the last 5 or 10 years, or has it always been kind of a thread of yours?
I like the word threat.
Not threat.
No, I like threat.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and edit that. Make sure that's threat, not threat. I remember I used to help my mother thread the needle because her eyesight was going, and so, of course, I was younger then, and I would thread her needles. But, yeah, she threatened me when I had to go get a branch off a yellow belt bush. So, yes, but, this is, different things stir different people for different reasons, and so, yes, it's up to, it's not up to me to interpret what the pencil comes up with.
Yes, right. I played a song earlier from Anais Mitchell, just earlier this morning, with Greg Brown, and there was like two characters in her Greek opera tragedy play that she recreated for a soundtrack and then became a Broadway musical. Anyway, Greg Brown plays this part about it's a song about immigration, and a listener called up and wondered, wow, is he saying, what I think he's saying? And it's like, well, you're interpreting it one way, sir, but that's the beauty of a song sometimes, is it's open to you to interpret it just what the message is.
Right.
I reckon you hear folks come to you and say, I love that song you wrote about such and such, and you might think to yourself, well, that wasn't what it was about, but that's all right.
Well, I change my opinions every now and then. You know as well as time goes on, it's an evolution, and hopefully to progress and not regression. So that's also up to one's interpretation, whether whether the sun's coming up and saying, no, the sun is going down.
Well, I guess some of your songs maybe fall in and out of your playlist, of the ones that you find are relevant to the times. Do you have some songs that you've written like way back in the day, like up in the 90s or the 80s, that you still play live once in a while?
Yeah, there's a couple of them that I get started. I don't use a set list. I just go by memory, and my wife has a hard time interpreting my memory. Actually, she's very clear, and mine gets a little foggy now and then. But I'm very grateful to be reminded for almost 20 years of some priorities that get a little confused.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty interesting to know that you don't really go by a playlist. Some acts, they have their playlist, and that's part of their rock, their anchor, their foundation to make their show happen. But you're more spontaneous, and I can see that. I have memories of seeing you at the Town Pump in Black Mountain, 2001 or 2 or so, and I know a lot of our listeners have seen you play a lot since then, and it is a sight to behold to see a Malcolm Holcombe show. And I bet you're feeling in a spontaneous mood this morning here on WNCW. What do you want to play next?
This is you just call this Pick with the Trade. When I was a kid, growing up in Weaverville here in Western North Carolina, there was a circus that came to town with one tent, and all I remember is one tent, a pretty good crowd, and one elephant. And the only thing I remember that what the elephant did was he took a big dump on the dirt. And I said, well, let me do something with that. Let's see. Dirty laughing smile, ticket taker's long cigar. His breath will knock you down, step right up on lay it down. Popcorn and a beer, summer crowd will cheer. Every sleight of hand, every joke and smear. Devils in top hat, mustache coated tails. And the elephants and donkeys strutting tricks of the trade. And silly clowns and monkeys take turns to tease and please. Ragged children crying for their mother's arms to leave. And the lions and the tigers pace, roar, and wait for scraps meat to swallow, the old tricks of the trade. Devils in a top hat, mustache coated tails. Elephants and donkeys strutting tricks of the trade.
top cheat your eyes, but you're always back again. The devil's in a top hat, mustache, coat, and tails, and the elephants and donkeys strutting tricks of the trade. Dirty laughing smile, ticket taker's long cigar. His breath will knock you down. Step right up on, lay it down.
Malcolm Holcombe on WNCW and the title track to the album Tricks of the Trade. Now, yeah, talk about interpretations of songs and maybe of albums. I figured Tricks of the Trade, that with the song material, a lot of which you cover on this album, I figured, oh, all right, the tricks that politicians use, that maybe spin doctors use, and in the issues plaguing us. But no, maybe it's more about the tricks that the circus ringleaders will do to make the greatest show on earth happen. Or maybe it's about the tricks that these songwriters have in being able to interpret the headlines and the issues we're dealing with into such wonderfully crafted songs that make you scratch your head and wonder, dig a little deeper. Thanks again
Thank you,
for
Mark.
an
It's
album
great to be here,
like
man.
Tricks of the Trade.
Thank you.
It's wonderful.
Thank all the folks out there have been awful good to us.
Good. Well, not only do you keep yourself busy with writing these songs, getting in the studio and recording them, and going out on tour like you do sometimes, but sometimes you have time to help out some others, some folks in need in the area. You've been in the Asheville, area kind of all your life, and you've gotten to know some good nonprofits like Beloved Asheville, cool organization in the last few years. And we have a co-director. We have two co-directors here, but Amy Cantrell is in front of the microphone here, and we welcome you to WNCW, Amy.
I love being here with all of you. Thank you.
Somehow, you got connected with this guy here, Malcolm Holcombe, to do a benefit concert for y'all a few years ago, and this is is this the second or the third?
Second year, yeah.
The second year. We had Malcolm with Greg Brown here in the past, and now you've got this one, and thanks for the poster here that says it all. It is the concert coming up this Saturday at the Gray Eagle in Asheville with Chuck Brodsky, Malcolm Holcombe, and also Whitewater Bluegrass Band. So all the proceeds from this show help out Beloved Asheville, right?
Yes. You know, one of the things that we know is, Malcolm Holcombe, you are your brother's keeper, the people of these mountains, and we are so grateful for that. You know, and so this benefit is really working on deeply affordable homes through our Be Love Village project. It's the first of its kind model that we're building over in East Asheville. Deeply affordable homes for neighbors in need that have equity to help lift people out of poverty. So we're so grateful for the show that's coming up. And like you said, it always helps you dig a little deeper. It feels like, you know, the soundtrack of our work is Malcolm Holcombe really making us think about what does it mean to be a human right now, and how do we support and stand up for each other in these days, as we're lost in these days, as the song says. So Be Love, we like to get lost in them days by using every breath, every second, every move we make to care for the people of these mountains too.
So Beloved Asheville, is this part of a national network then of others helping out to bring affordable housing to various cities?
Well, we're all homegrown here local with Be Loved Asheville, but we're certainly connected to people with hearts all over the nation. And this is a national model project, so we've developed sort of our own project looking at where the gaps were in our community, and we hope we've had people from all over the country studying what we're doing there at the Be Loved Village. So we're real excited about bringing something new, a new solution that hasn't been brought, that's innovative, was created grassroots by people living through the housing crisis.
Okay, so talking about the housing crisis for Asheville to help out folks that are homeless, folks that are elderly, maybe disabled.
Absolutely.
I get the impression it's getting harder and harder to find affordable housing in Asheville.
Extremely difficult, and you know what we see in Asheville is happening all over our region. It's happening all over the country. That people are struggling to survive, And so we have lots of different people that are living through the housing crisis, and you named some of those. You know, we have veterans, we have elders, we have, you know, working families that can't afford. We were talking about, you know, we haven't raised the minimum wage in years, and so we've been talking about that. Just everyday people can't afford to actually live in the towns that they love, and so that's what this project is all about, is keeping people, you know, hometown people home. And that's what we love about Malcolm, is he really has a heart for our home.
How did you get connected with Malcolm Holcombe?
Malcolm showed up at the doorstep. We had a house over on Grove Street in Asheville for 10 years. That was where we started. And Malcolm rang the doorbell, and you had a few bags of things to share. One of the things we have is a Street Musicians Guild, so he always brings us some guitar strings and things like that we could share with street buskers. And so you were at the door, and we'd never met, and he said, I want to help you, but all I do is pick a little guitar. And I said, well, I pick a little guitar too, and we got to talking, and lo and behold, we cooked up this first show that happened a couple of years back, and here we are again. So it's always a glory spell. He always comes with a gift.
Yeah.
Whether it's hot sauce or guitar strings or something to help somebody out.
Or a new song, maybe that helps too.
Always a new song.
Bringing an absolute favorite like Greg Brown is an awful nice gift, and you did that. That was I assume there was a successful show last time. Malcolm Holcombe, Greg Brown. That alone would make for a successful evening of entertainment, but also hopefully some good proceeds raised for that one. And so this year it's Malcolm Holcombe and Chuck Brodsky and the Whitewater Bluegrass Band. This is at the Gray Eagle this Saturday. Doors open at 7, and then the show is at 8, right? And you have a silent auction and all that going on as well for all to help beloved Asheville. It's interesting, I got an email this morning from someone who works at the Dinah Worthen Theater in Asheville. They're doing a musical on Saturday evening, something different, but they're setting up a table booth for beloved Asheville as well.
Yes, we're in two places at once, which is hard to believe. They say you can't do that, but with community, you can actually be in two places at once, and that's what's really powerful. So
Cool.
We're grateful for all the support of community here in these mountains.
Malcolm Holcombe with Amy Cantrell, the co-director of Beloved Asheville. You ready for another song here, Malcolm?
I reckon so. Let's run it. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, we'll have another handmade guitar for the silent auction coming up Saturday. I just want to throw that in there. Made by Ken McCoy, who's graciously given us a handmade dreadnought good axe, and we'll do a little video on that in a day or two. For the silent auction good axe. Part of the silent auction. What does that say here? Breaking daylight, fog is good. Dirty windows, stirring up good old good intentions. Quiet as a mouse, side stepping, nothing lasts. Stirring up good old good intentions. All's welcome to the 63. Keep your mind on living the American dream.
job, grow your hair long. White hand the South, stirring up good intentions. Politicians dirty, friends die early. Bible belt, stirring up good intentions. Good. Mars welcome the TV 63. Keep your mind on living the American dream. Mars welcome the TV 63. Keep your mind on living the American dream. Dream.
Malcolm Holcombe on WNCW, and another song that touches on the American Dream from the new album Tricks of the Trade, and from your just general catalog in general. Looking back at history, your history, maybe back in the 60s when you were watching Lawrence Welk as a young pup or something. Was there a moment that that you remember thinking, I need to kind of chronicle this so-called American dream or current events or something and put it down in song? Or maybe it was poetry at first. Was there an episode or an event that really was the catalyst for you to decide to chronicle these times we were in?
No, I was just trying to get through the day, you know. And I remember my dad told me, he says, I was in there trying to pick a little bit in the bedroom. He said, son, he poked his head in and he said, don't quit your day job. And that's all I remember about any kind of chronicling what my dad told me. I'm trying to remember some of his wisdom, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I didn't, it didn't dawn on me that, any kind of chronicling. I was just trying to get through the day without getting in too much trouble.
Well, did you get in trouble with Dad by keeping up with it?
No, I was trying to stay in school and not come home after dark.
There you go. There you go.
The rest of that story.
There's some words of wisdom from Malcolm Holcombe for the younger folks, especially the musicians. Stay in school, get home before dark,
Yeah.
but keep on making music even if your parents don't understand. Is that right?
Yeah, and don't sing through your nose is what my mother also said.
Okay. All right.
Don't sing through your nose.
I wonder if Brian Brinkerhoff has given you advice like that. He's one of your producers of late.
Oh yeah, he's a wonderful. He's really been an instigator in the last about 6-7 records, and he's really been wonderful in being able to make these things happen.
Yeah, the producer for your last 6 or 7 records,
That's
Brian
right.
Brinkerhoff. Dave Rowe as well, right?
Yeah, Dave's been working with Dave, and this last record was cut. It was recorded in his studio in Goodlettsville, Tennessee, and he's been very stalwart in his upright and electric bass playing, and his ingenuity and creative juices in a lot of these songs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then Jared Tyler, he's become a friend of WNCW's for sure.
Oh yeah, Jared
Obviously.
Thompson. Yeah, man.
He's a friend of yours. He's the way the music he does, the music he blends to accompany you is just terrific. He's been doing that since what 1999 or so. Usually mandolin, acoustic guitar, and such, but
Oh, yeah, he's a great player. He's a well of creativity and quite a musician. And he's pretty handy with a fishing pole.
oh, good. And the electric guitar. I feel like this was maybe the
Yeah,
first time he
man.
kind of plugged in, got more electric on Tricks of the Trade.
Yeah, he's trying to drown me out for 25 years. It's a pretty good job.
I would beg to differ. He's nowhere near drowning you out. He's a great compliment. And
Oh yeah, he's been a dear friend and quite an inspiration and a great asset to his songs.
yeah, well, and it's the songs, it's the lyrics that always rise to the top in your material, and that ain't never going to change. With songs like that, when you just played, kind of good hallmarks of what this album kind of touches on, along with the title track, Tricks of the Trade. Money Train, love that one. Higher Ground, Shaky Ground, different kinds of ground you walk on.
I'm glad somebody got me.
Well, you got some good songs on
Been
here.
talking to my wife.
That's right. Hi, Cindy. You're tuned to WNCW. We're in Studio B with Malcolm Holcombe. And maybe one more song from you, if we can, before you head on back home.
That sounds good. Scratch one here. From the Cajun down here to Carolina, she was sick in the morning, she's the town doctor. Well, life, Agatha Christie, the trailway back from New Orleans. Who done it? Who carried you? Churchyard to the liquor store, from the clothesline clean out the door. Well, life, Agatha Christie, and that trailway back from New Orleans. And who done it? And who carried you? Thelma Marie, 3 boys love Pearl as he 59 to heaven, through 37 years old, Lord. Who done it? Who carried you? Them sitting on a lap and smelling a Listerine in black and white. Might have been that old faded TV that was built to the A&P. Who done it? Who carried you? Thelma Marie, 3 boys love Pearl and Jean, from 59 to heaven, through 37 years old, Lord. Who done it? Who carried you? I was talking to Greg Brown this morning, Martin. You want to give him a call?
Oh, I don't have his number. Greg Brown, the great you.
Yeah, you know, you folks may have heard of Greg Brown. I talked to him a while ago. He just had a cup of coffee, you know, and he just really loves beloved Asheville, WNCW, a lot of friends around here. You want to give him a call?
Yeah, sure. Why don't we? Greg Brown was here with Malcolm, like we said a year or two ago here. Sean Ruber produced that session, like this one here, and here we had Greg Brown in the studio with Malcolm, and now Malcolm's calling up Greg Brown just a few days before the show.
Hey, Greg. Hey, Mr. Brown. This is Malcolm over here at WNCW. Can you hear me? I can. Yeah. You wanna say hello to these folks down here on the radio?
Well, yeah, I know the benefits coming up. I don't know all the details from it. Well, I'm sure you do.
Yeah, it's coming up Saturday. We're gonna miss you over here.
Yeah, I wish I could be there with everybody, and I know it's for a great cause, and I hope everybody will show up and really support the whole thing.
Well, thank you, Mr. Brown. You know, Martin's been playing your music for how long now?
Oh, we've been playing Greg Brown music 32 years.
Man, I didn't know you was that old, man.
I used to come through there quite a bit. My old voice stopped at every station when I had time to do it, because I like that station I listened to when I was driving around down there. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Greg, for your time this morning, and love to your family, and we appreciate you.
Well, welcome, the same to you. I'll be hoping and praying that it all goes really good.
Thank you, brother. We'll see you later. Love you back.
Okay, all right, bye.
And there you go, folks. Live on the radio. One of our favorites, Malcolm Holcombe, calls up one of our favorites, Greg Brown, living, was he in Ohio? Iowa?
Yeah, he's in Iowa City there. Yeah.
Lovely wife, Iris DeMint. So.
That's right on. Yeah, he's got a nice family, and he's a good fisherman too. He knows how to clean and cook those things, you know. A lot of walleye out there.
He's got a couple of good songs about fishing.
Yeah.
He's got a couple of good songs about pretty much everything, really, over the years. Well, again, that was great that he was here in town with you a couple years ago for that benefit. And this Saturday, well, Greg Brown can't make it, but you've got Chuck Brodsky and also the Whitewater Bluegrass Company playing the Grey Eagle in Asheville.
That's right.
This Saturday, all to support beloved Asheville. Amy Cantrell, thank you for coming in to talk about the beloved Asheville and all the work you're doing for making affordable housing happen in the area.
Right on. So thrilled to be here. I was saying I remember 17 years old in my growing up home place, listening to this little station that just got started, WNCW. So it's wonderful to be here.
Right on. Well, we're glad we can keep it going. And Malcolm, thanks for keeping it going with all these great albums and great fundraisers and such you do.
You know, thank you, folks here, Martin. Thank you for having us here in WCW, for supporting the community and Record Store Day. Folks here, and all the fans and friends, and you know, God bless you all. Dios te bendiga.
All right. Well, it's just another day of radio here at WNCW, where we have great folks like Malcolm Holcombe. Just another day where he calls up Greg Brown live on the telephone to talk live on the radio. But it's not just any day, it is Public Radio Music Day. And we've chosen to get a couple of our regional favorites in here today to celebrate. Malcolm, who we've been playing for many years. And then coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, it's Alexa Rose. She's a little newer on the scene, Malcolm. She's been making music for, I don't know, a couple albums worth now. And we've got her live in the 5 o'clock hour along with Joseph Terrell of Mipso joining her. Live Studio B sessions are brought to you by Sierra Nevada Brewing Company. I'm Martin Anderson, and well, here's another song about music in our lives. This is Mia Doi Todd.
You just flew to the baby butt, all of you, just like the baby butt smooth.
Oh, yeah? Just what I was thinking.
Exactly.
I knew that. I knew you were saying just you were thinking
It's a
of
very
smooth as a monkey butt.